Yesterday, the Big Picture podcast, which is part of Bill Simmons' The Ringer, put out an episode of their movie draft with Bill himself, and Bill decided to rep an Anduril hat. Now, Anduril is a company that builds robots that use AI to kill people. This is a company I literally just talked about because Gwyneth Paltrow has been shilling for them. She's also about to host a dinner for Sam Altman. Of Sam Altman, Bill Simmons has been shoving ChatGPT down everyone's throats over and over again. A recent example was on The Rewatchables when he used ChatGPT to figure out what Roger Ebert would think about a film. Of course, OpenAI is a direct partner of Anduril. Anduril was founded by 5 men in 2017. The most famous of them are Trey Stevens and Palmer Luckey. This is Trey Stevens, who just sat down back in June with Gwyneth. Trey Stevens is a partner at Peter Thiel's venture capital firm, and he used to work at Palantir until Thiel pushed him to go do his own thing. We don't talk about the PayPal mafia enough and all their ties to Jeffrey. We don't talk enough about the fact that JD Vance is the champion of Peter Thiel and Silicon Valley in general. And we shouldn't ignore that Jeffrey was sitting down for dinners back in 2015 with Zuckerberg and Elon and Peter Thiel and Reid Hoffman of LinkedIn. People at this dinner and their allies control every single bit of our social media in this moment. But anyway, the other guy to talk about here is Palmer Luckey. He's a big fan of Donald Trump. His brother-in-law, of course, is Matt Gaetz. Palmer, before this, was behind Oculus VR. This is how he describes himself. And that came up because of this story earlier this year. This is what Bill Simmons and The Ringer is shilling for. Speaking of movies, one of the things Anduril makes is a small, fully autonomous jet. I've seen that movie. It's from back in 2005 from alleged rapist Rob Cohen. It's called Stealth. Speaking of movies, Anduril, or The Flame of the West, is the reforged Narsil. These guys see themselves as Aragorn, right? So Anduril is the weapon of the West to be used by those that can control the Palantiri. Palantir corrupted Denethor, who thought he could use it to his people. It corrupted Saruman, who thought that he was actually better than Sauron, had no intention of actually following him. He wanted power for himself. The scene from the extended edition of Return of the King is very different from the book. It shows that Aragorn was actually able to control the Palantir to a certain extent. In the book, Aragorn's actually able to use the Palantir to get valuable information and also to really goad Sauron into attacking Minas Tirith before he's ready, leaving Mordor vulnerable to penetration by Frodo and Sam. These men either think this is all a big joke and see themselves as Sauron, or they see themselves as a twisted version of Aragorn who does not exist in real life. Aragorn is an idealized leader that would have complete power but never abuse it. It goes without saying, but Tolkien was anti-fascist, he was environmentalist, and he was anti-war. He went to the Somme and watched all of his friends die. He would not support a single one of these companies. Bill Simmons under The Ringer has 5 of the biggest podcasts in America through Spotify right now, with his podcast with Amy Poehler's, with The Big Picture, with The Rewatchables, and their fantasy podcast as well. All that reach, all that sway, Bill decided to normalize one of the most comically evil companies in the world, and his employees should be asking him, why is that?